It's one of the most famous races in the world, the pinnacle of endurance racing, and 1/3 of the fabled Triple Crown of motorsport. Each year, the Le Mans 24 Hours attracts the very best racing drivers on the planet to the fast straights and sweeping turns of the iconic Circuit de la Sarthe. Sadly, I'm not one of the very best racing drivers on the planet, but luckily someone decided to make a game of it, so I can at least pretend. Simply named Le Mans 24 Hours, or Test Drive Le Mans if you're American, or 24 Heures de Mans if you're French, it was released on the PS1 back in 2000 and boasts a selection of GT2, GT1 and prototype cars from the late 90s. Strangely, there's no named drivers on the game, so I can only assume that these cars are sentient. Certainly some of the driving in this can't be considered human.
Really necessary?
In fairness, I guess some of those could have been partly my fault. It doesn't really matter about the lack of actual drivers though. This game is about the race, and while there are some other modes like Arcade and Championship, the main attraction is the Le Mans 24 Hours itself. You can choose what class you compete in and how long you want to race for. There's 12 minutes, 24 minutes, 2 hours, the whole thing? I'd love to know if anyone's ever managed to do an entire 24 hours on this game. For now, I'll stick with the Le Mans 24 minutes. If you can't be bothered to qualify, like me, then you can jump straight in and start at the back. Now obviously the key to endurance racing is to be patient and pick your moments to overtake. It's a long race, there's no need to rush.
And he's off!
Soon you'll be driving into the night. On a short race length like this, the transition is fairly quick, so it gets dark almost instantly, and it can be quite difficult to see.
And he's moved up a place.
Eventually, you'll need to stop for fuel. I quite like how the pit stops work in this. It's nice and simple. You drive in, pick your tyres, whack in some petrol and off you go. There's some other options too, but when you've got it set to easy, I don't think you need to worry too much. When the sun starts to rise, you know you're almost at the end. It's been a gruelling 24 minutes, but I'm on course for a historic victory. And there you go, first place! All those years of hard work has finally paid off. As well as setting it to amateur and turning the assists on, but let's not spoil the moment. Once you get bored of racing high-powered endurance cars, you can always try driving a pork pie. No, I don't know why they put this in either, but it's there. The pizza is probably quite aerodynamic. There's a few other cheat modes as well, like the spacecraft race. Le Mans 24 Hours isn't a massive game, but there's plenty there to keep you entertained for a while, and well worth picking up if you can find it on the cheap.